And on this edition of Oxford News this week, the bank is 138 years young. A class act is now retiring. That and more on this edition of Oxford News this week. And welcome back to Oxford News this week. I'm Jim Hughes in. Terry Stiles will be back next week. Oxford school board officials have rejected Michigan Attorney Dana Nessel's offer to review a deadly November 30th shooting at the Oxford High School. Twice previously declined Nessel's proposal, also rejected her offer for a dog trained to detect explosives and firearms, along with a handler at the campus. In the next academic year, the district's letter was in response to one Nessel sent on Monday, in which she asked the district to reconsider its rejections at her offer to review the events again leading up to November 30th, the mass shooting at Oxford, which again left 4 students dead and 7 others wounded. Oxford Community School Board President Tom Donnelly, in a letter to Nessel Tuesday from the school board, said the district is proceeding with an independent investigation that was announced back in May. Again, they intend to share the information from the school families and from outlining the next steps in the investigation. They're very confident at the conclusion that they will have a clear picture of what led up to the events on that tragic day, as well as set a responsible and effective solution to consider what they can do to move forward from that event. The Oakland County prosecutor lambasted the parents of the Oxford school shooting in the series of court filings last Thursday, portraying them as a selfish people who are trying to blame her and the media for their shortcomings. McDonald was responding to the defense claim that she had gone out of her way to taint the image of the parents. The Crumbleys are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the alleged roles in the mass killing. Prosecutors say they gave their troubled son a gun, failed to notify the school about the gun, and then were summoned over with troubling behavior, with pictures that were drawn with a gun and blood and with words, "the thoughts I won't stop." Again, and then sent back to class. Lawyers for James and Jennifer Crumbley filed a series of blistering motions last month accusing the prosecution, among other things, releasing too much information to the media, bad-mouthing their clients, disclosing irrelevant information about their clients' personal lives, and lying about certain details in the case. Since the shooting, McDonald has had several press conferences and has spoken with the media about the case. The defense wants her to stop doing this and stop releasing information that could actually be used as evidence in the trial. James and Jennifer Crumbley, again, are charged with involuntary manslaughter after, again, their son killed 4 students at the Oxford High School. The parents are also accused of ignoring their son's mental health, providing them with access to a weapon used. The motions will be sent to a judge to grant or deny. This schedule is coming up real soon with Judge Cheryl Matthews. That trial or that review will be on June 27th. 20 Oxford students and their families plan to file a lawsuit against Oxford Community School District in a federal court, claiming the district created dangerous conditions for the high school students before the November 30th shooting. The group of parents and their attorney announced their plans in the virtual news conference Friday. The group is not asking for money, but a court-ordered policy change within the district, including how to address students who appear to pose a risk or harm themselves and others. Parents also want Oxford to retract statements officials made about this and handling of the shooting. The 3rd annual Michigan Taco Fest will be taking place at Canterbury Village in Lake Orion coming up within the week. The 24th and 26th taking place in the beautiful 21-acre Canterbury Village and Wildwood Amphitheater. The festival will include thousands of taco lovers, 3 days of food, fun, and entertainment. 7 stages throughout the festival will also feature live bands, acoustic performances, cooking demonstrations, and some of the top Mexican restaurants, margaritas obviously, making it a great day. There'll be a kids stage, a kids zone, a bounce house, and face painting for 21 and over. Again, the festival, a large array of margaritas and palomas and specialty cocktails will be there available, plus 40 different types of tequila. Sign me up. Get your tickets from Michigan Taco Fest $5 per person in advance or $10 at the door. Children 3 and under are free. Parking at the Village costs $5. Again, they're located 2359 Joslyn Court in Lake Orion. To purchase tickets, for more information, go to MichiganTacoFest.com. Sounds like a great time and very enjoyable place to go. An evening to remember, a man to admire, kind words, smiles, tears, and hugs filled the room. The folks paid tribute to, of course, Oxford Parks and Rec former director Ron Davis at the June 17th retirement party that took place on Seymour Lake Township Park. Davis retiring officially on July 1st after 27 years of faithful service. Again, everybody in the community celebrating with him the other evening. From what I understand, it was very enjoyable. Again, it's simply, Oxford is definitely going to miss you, Ron, and we do welcome the new administration, but you have definitely been a pinnacle of this community. Good luck, sir. Happy birthday to Oxford Bank. If you're in the bank, maybe say happy birthday to some of the people in there. Oxford Bank is celebrating its 138th year this month. The financial institution has the distinction of being Oakland County's oldest independent community bank. The bank history begins way back with Gabriel Sherwood Gabriel Sherwood Holbert back in 1879. He opened a bank in Oxford, the second floor of the Tenstead Hardware Building. That was located at 3 South Washington. We do have some pictures here. In downtown Oxford, as banking business flourished, Holbert decided to organize a new bank. The result was the Oxford Savings Bank. Created in 1884, Holbert served as the OSB's first cashier, chief executive officer, and John D. Hagerman became the first president. Unfortunately, Holbert didn't occupy the position for long. He died November 30th, 1884 at the age of 46. Like its predecessor, Oxford Savings Bank, first home was the second floor of the Tenstead Hardware Building, which then was erected in 1879. Rent for the entire building for the bank, get this, it cost them $100 per year. Oxford Savings Bank later moved on to their new home, 9 North Washington Street, which was constructed in 1894. Through February 1922, the board of directors decided to erect a new bank building at the northwest corner of Burdick and Washington. We know that as the museum, 1 North Washington Street. Construction actually began April of 1922. The impressive new structure opened on January 22nd. 1923, just 6 years prior to the big crash. Made from Indiana limestone, the new bank cost $35,000 to build. The bronze flagpole that topped it cost another $300. The interior of the bank contained a mix of elegant materials, including marble, glass, mahogany. There was also gold and silver fixtures on the ceiling and walls, and tan draperies made of silk and linen. Protecting the money was in a vault, which was with a 7-ton door. Again, the 1 North Washington Street housed the Oxford Savings Bank until 1966, when they moved to their new main branch on 60 South Washington Street. Opened 56 years later, the building is still serving the needs of Oxford community and customers. Oxford Savings Bank again changed its name to Oxford Bank in 1985, and today Oxford has the presence of 12 communities spanning Oxford, Lapeer, Genesee, Macomb, Washtenaw counties. If you want to know more about their birthday celebration, you can visit oxfordbank.com. Happy 138 to a company that's actually celebrated with Oxford and been at many of the gatherings. Remembering the Hansons. Earlier in the day, Oxford Township Parks and Rec paid tribute to the late Mary Jean and Bud Hanson, a couple who devoted many of their years, 35 years, to the department of the community. A boulder adorned with a beautiful bronze plaque honoring the couple has been placed outside the Mary Jean Hanson Pavilion on Seymour Lake Park. The pavilion was built and dedicated in 2012. Mary Jean became the Parks and Rec Department travel coordinator in April of 1991. She planned trips that took participants around the county and around the world. Her groups also visited New Zealand, Australia, England, Scotland, Wales, Canada, Hawaii, Missouri, Florida, Texas, California, oh yes, and Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina. Maybe we should have just said the 50 states, right? Within Michigan, Mary Jane frequently orchestrated excursions to Frankenmuth, Mackinac Island, Chelsea, and Detroit. At one point, she was averaging 20 to 30 trips per year. The plaque honoring the Hansons sums up her contributions to Oxford. Together, they touched the lives of countless individuals, their endless love for each other, their family, and the Parks and Rec Department. And the legacy will live on with that placing of the stone. Many, all those who gather here in the same ability of a good citizen, a neighbor, and friend. Again, we want to say congratulations to the Hansons, and you can take a look at that big rock next to the pavilion that was just placed the other day. With that, I'll be back with, I do have a brief sports. Dave Kenny will have something, and I will close it all out in just a moment. You're watching Oxford News This Week. We'll be right back with more.
Welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company is recalling over 48,900 Mustang Mach-E crossovers in the U.S. following a safety defect that could cause the electric vehicle to lose power. In addition to the recall, Ford has issued a stop sale on the Mach-E, according to a memo to dealers issued on June 13th. Under the new orders, retailers are not allowed to complete the sale by delivering the vehicle to customers. The automaker in the memo said the vehicle's high-voltage battery main contactors could overheat, leading to a malfunction that could cause the vehicle to either not start or immediately lose propulsion power while in motion. Ford said the affected vehicles were built from May 27, 2020 through May 24, 2022 at its plant in Cuautitlan, Mexico. A Ford spokesman said the remedy is a software update, and the automaker expects to deploy that update next month. The company said auto owners will have the option to either complete the update over the air or take their vehicle to a Ford or Lincoln dealer. Ford said there are no open investigations with NHTSA related to the issue. The recall is the biggest for the high-profile electric crossovers to date. And still at Ford, Ford Motor Company is recalling more than 2.9 million U.S. vehicles for a gear-shifting defect that has been linked to 4 reports alleging an injury. The recall covers certain 2013 to 2019 Escapes, 2013 to 2018 C-Maxes, 2013 to 16 Fusions, 2013 to 21 Transit Connects, and 2015 to 18 Edge vehicles. Those vehicles could have a damaged or missing bushing that prevents them from shifting into the intended gear and may cause the vehicle to move in an unexpected direction, according to a recall report submitted to NHTSA last week. The affected vehicles could roll away even after the driver puts the vehicle in park, increasing the risk of a crash or injury, the report states. Additionally, if a vehicle is turned off in a transmission gear state other than park, regardless of the gear shift lever position, the engine will not start, Ford said in the report. Ford told NHTSA that it is also aware of 6 reports alleging property damage and 1,630 warranty reports. The cause of the defect is unknown, but could be related to heat and humidity contributing to the bushing's degradation based on Ford's investigation. To fix the issue, dealers will replace the underhood shift bushing and add a protective cap over the shift cable bushing. Hylex in Rochester Hills supplies the shift cable bushing, according to the report. Dealers were notified June 13th, and vehicle owners will be notified starting June 27th. So far this year, Ford has issued 38 recalls, the most by any manufacturer, affecting nearly 7 million vehicles, according to NHTSA data. Some of those vehicles may be part of more than one recall campaign. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and we'll be right back.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. Great to have you along with us. According to the word courage, as defined by Collins Dictionary, is the quality by someone who decides to do something difficult or dangerous, or even though they may be afraid. Accompanying that definition could also be the picture of the late Tate Myre. Pierre was one of the 4 students who died and was shot at the Oxford School by, again, a fellow student. Of course, that day we'll always remember, November 30th. Several students said they saw Myre at the standout football player and wrestler running in the direction of the shooter. While others were running out of the school, Myre was actually being honored by the Free Press as a 2022 recipient of the Detroit High School Sports Award Courage Award. Again, we know that already. Although only a junior, Myre has quickly established himself as one of the top athletes of the school. He was an Oxford junior. He is, and rarely you see that as a captain. But Myre was a rare athlete and a teammate, and once again picked up the honor of showing courage. This happened last week. If you were part of it, I'm sure you knew about it, but it's been a regular event. Mutter Nation. I guess it was a blast on Saturday and Sunday. Thousands of participants, spectators visited the area. 1,200-acre coning, sand, and gravel property on Lakeville Road. They enjoy the Tough Mudder there. It's an event established with a 5K, 13 obstacles, 10K, 20 obstacles, and 15K with 30 obstacles. It's a lot more than that. It also brings a lot of fun, enjoyment, and a lot of business to the area. Once again, we are happy to see Mutter come back every year. Great time, great faces, and we have some photos here for you for that. Also want to say, feel free to come on down to the softball park. Check out your Parks and Rec. There's senior softball. We saw a game last week where Oxford Health Quest, they lost to the Lake Orion Lakers. Gentlemen played some softball on a very hot Wednesday. We're going to be doing that again. Their next game, West Bloomfield All-Tire at Oxford Health Quest. That's coming up on the 22nd at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. We're Oxford Senior Park. More details for the softball, get a copy on their calendar. That's going to wrap it in sports. Dave Kenny should have another segment coming up, and I'll close the news out coming up shortly, right here on Oxford News This Week.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Solar storms that disrupt Earth's magnetic field may cause up to 5,500 heart-related deaths in the U.S. in some years. The sun goes through cycles of high and low activity that repeat approximately every 11 years. During periods of high activity, it blasts out charged particles and magnetized plasma that can distort Earth's magnetic field. These so-called solar storms can cause glitches in our power grids and bring down Earth's orbiting satellites. A handful of studies have also hinted that they increase the risk of heart attacks, but these were too small to be conclusive. To explore further, Carolina Zilli Vieira at Harvard University and her colleagues analyzed records of deaths between 1985 and 2013 in 263 U.S. cities. They then compared heart-related fatalities with solar storm data. They found that more heart disease deaths occurred on days when solar storms had disturbed Earth's magnetic field. For each year of high solar activity during that period, they estimate that an additional 5,500 people in the U.S. died of heart attacks or other cardiovascular complications. To better understand the mechanisms behind this phenomenon, Zilli Vieira and her colleagues analyzed electrocardiograms, EKGs, tests that monitored the heart's electrical activity that were conducted on more than 800 men in the U.S. as part of a long-term health study. They discovered the men were more likely to display reduced heart rate variability, a sign that their hearts were stressed when solar storms had disrupted Earth's magnetic field in the past 24 hours. The association was particularly strong for men diagnosed with heart disease. Referring to the results, Arnegretta Hunter at the Australian National University in Canberra says, "It sounds left field, but they have done a robust analysis. When we think of cardiovascular risks, we tend to think of things like high blood pressure, diabetes, and smoking. But this suggests we need to pay more attention to the impacts of the wider environment." Solar storms shift Earth's magnetic field, disrupting normal circadian rhythms, also known as our body clocks. These play an important role in regulating our heart rate and other bodily functions, says Zilla Vieira. Higher solar activity has also been associated with increased rates of depression, suicide, and preterm birth, which may be similarly linked to circadian disruptions, she said. Other species appear to be affected too, with whale strandings becoming more common and homing pigeons taking longer to navigate to their destinations during solar storms. If you think about how the sun makes up over 99% of the mass of our solar system, it makes sense that it could affect our health in various ways, said Zilla Vieira. Her team is now trying to understand exactly how solar activity affects the heart so they can find ways to protect vulnerable people when solar storms are predicted. The next big surge in solar activity is expected in 2025. I do believe that people should know about this, and in the future we can hopefully develop some mitigation measures, says Zilla Vieira. Keep on that study. Well, that's it for Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. That's going to wrap it up. Terry will be back here again next week. I had a chance to say goodbye again. Wonderful that you could join us again. Hopefully maybe you can take part in that Taco Fest going on, and also get out to the park, taking care of some of the things out here with the honoring of the Hansons. Anyways, we'd like to say goodbye and remind you that Oxford Community Television can be viewed here on many platforms. Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99. We're also on the AT&T Uverse, that's 99. YouTube, I watch a lot of stuff there. Rumble, Facebooks. We're on many other apps as well. Roku as well. Download it if you can. You can watch Oxford Community Programming available for local groups. Maybe you have an idea for a program, public service announcement. Maybe your group has an event coming up. Feel free to contact our office at 248-628-9658. We can maybe set up a PSA for you. Once again, that's going to wrap it for me. Terry will be back with me next week. Want to thank everybody in the back. Kyle, longtime friend Kyle, he's running it for us today. Joe Hewitt, he edits it. Connie gets it on the air. And for my friend Terry Stiles, and manager of the TV station, I'm Jim Hughes. Till we do it all over again. Have a great week, everyone. We'll be back again with another edition of Oxford News This Week.